Hello, everyone, and welcome to Post Perez, January 2024 edition, first one of the year. My name's WH Park. Happy New Year, everyone. And of course, joining me always and forever, now, then, forever. No, that's a different company. That's a different wrestling scene.
Got it.
No, well, actually, it wouldn't be then because you weren't here then. You're here now. Maybe forever. Right, Karen? It's Karen Peterson, everyone.
Forever seems like an awfully long time. I don't know if I'll be doing wrestling forever and ever, but we'll see. Happy New Year,
let's
WH.
see. Thank you. Foreseeable future. Should we say foreseeable future?
I have not been endeavored yet, so
well, I doubt that.
Good.
I doubt that. I don't know if people know this, but we here at Post Wrestling consider Karen to be the empress of podcasting here at Post Wrestling.
Oh, nobody calls me that. Let's be honest.
I've just said it.
Okay, fine. I'll take the compliment.
Listen, you can't put that toothpaste back in the tube. You know what I'm saying? I've said it. You know who's gonna confirm it on their next review, probably on fucking Rewind a Raw is John and Wade. They're gonna be first. They're gonna say, hey, let me do my waiting impersonation. Hey, John, yeah, did you listen to Post Perez with WH and Karen? She's the empress of podcasting, and John be like, yeah, it's great. I can't disagree with that. And then I'm sure Neil Flanagan and Andrew Thompson will write headlines on the site about it. It's gonna be official. Don't worry about it, Karen. The empress, everyone. Of podcasting
I'm not graduating anytime soon. I'll be here for a while.
Here at Post Wrestling, but Karen, I don't know about you. I do know about you because I know you watched a lot of wrestling. So did I. And we're gonna talk about a lot of wrestling.
We are going to talk about
but we're going to try to be very succinct and to the point about it. We got some thoughts on things that happened in the last several days, particularly about I would say New Japan Pro Wrestling, but we'll get to those. But we are going to actually refer to a lot of other content that has been produced regarding some of the bigger shows because we have had a multiple number of reviews already put up on the site and on our YouTube channel. So you check those out. We'll reference them. And I would highly recommend, first and foremost, the Wrestle Kingdom 18 review done by John Way and our good friend of the show, Bruce Lord.
There's also a nifty written version.
That's right.
From your girl, the
Empress. The Empress right here. That's right. The empress of the written content as well at Post Wrestling, not just the podcasting. But yes, Karen has a written review of Wrestle Kingdom 18, and she gives a lot of her thoughts. And what else did you write? You wrote quite a few things, didn't you, recently?
It's been a busy week. I started with Stardom Dream Queendom on the 29th of December, covered Noah the New Year on the 2nd, and then Wrestle Kingdom on the 4th, and now you and I are recording Post Pro as it's been a week.
Right. We will talk about the Wrestle Kingdom show in brief. I personally have not had a chance to see it yet because I've been swamped with real life and then doing a ton of content. I've been doing MCU Later with Rich Fan, covering season 2 of What If. By the way, if you're on the fence about watching What If, go check it out. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I highly recommend it. And if you want to hear me go off the rails about certain things, particularly about Thai food, check out episode 2 of our What If season 2 review, which just dropped on Post Wrestling. I made Rich Fan do this. Oh dear Lord, several times. So I'm quite proud of that, to be quite honest with you. But we're going to talk about some kind of news, and then Karen's going to give us an update on what's happening with Stardom. A lot of people missing shows due to various reasons. We'll talk briefly about that. Then we'll get into the recent title defenses of the Triple Crown by Katsuhiko Nakajima, both of which I've watched in full and thoroughly enjoyed both. We'll talk about Katsuhiko Nakajima becoming an Inokiist, embracing the teachings of one Antonio Inoki. It's tremendous, folks. While he's holding the belt created by Giant Baba. Amazing. Anyways, we're also going to talk about Noah the New Year. We're going to talk about one of the saddest things I've ever seen, which is Kota Ibushi versus Naomichi Marufuji. And one of the best things I've seen so far this year, which was Keno defending his GHC heavyweight title against Manabu Soya. And we're going to we're going to give some brief thoughts about Wrestle Kingdom, not go into too much depth because John Way and Bruce already covered it. And then Karen and I will go in depth on New Year's Dash, all the things that happened and a lot of things that came out of it as well. So with that being said, Karen, let's start off with this thing that New Japan announced that Bushiroad is part of. It's called the Asia Pacific Federation of Wrestling, and it's 6 different promotions across Asia, across the Pacific Ocean. Not like Tony Khan creating the Atlantic title that also included Japan as one of the flags on that belt, inexplicably. Makes no sense, but whatever. He's now changed the title to the international title, which I think is even a worse name, to be quite honest. But I digress. Representing Japan is New Japan Pro Wrestling and Stardom, Bushiroad promotions both. From China, the DFW. I have no what they mean. I have no idea what that stands for. Taiwan. Puzzle, Jesus, they got China and Taiwan to do something together. Listen, Bushiroad, you deserve a fucking Nobel Peace Prize for that. Thailand, Setup, the promotion called Setup, and from Singapore, Grapple Max. Hey, listen, this is probably the best name of all these fucking promotions. Is Grapple Max. What the fuck? That's amazing. All right. Anyways, they're what's the gist of this alliance of these promotions, Karen?
From the press release that New Japan put out about it, it seems like there's going to be a whole bunch of things in plan. This was also kind of hinted at last year when they were doing their projections of what they wanted to do with Stardom and New Japan going in from 2023 to 2024. Talent exchanges, showcase matches. It lists wrestler training, so I don't know if people are getting dispatched there for excursion or if they're going to be sending people to Japan to train. But yeah, it just seems like they're trying to stake a foothold in the Asia continent as a whole. Kind of like GLEAT has their hands on like in every little place. They're trying to do the same thing.
GLEAT doesn't really exist, Karen. I mean, they have not.
Sorry, strong hearts and Shima, doing the working harder than the devil.
Well, I mean, no one really cares about GLEAT. Let's be honest. Like they're not going to get any kind of TV deal or go beyond like Cork and Hall or whatever. Anyways, GLEAT is GLEAT. It's there. I'm sure it's still showing shows for free on YouTube. Regardless, this is to me just a lot of hot air put out by New Japan, and I don't think there's anything going to come out of this. I think it's all like, hey, let's say something that'll make us look cool, that'll make us seem like we are more important than we actually are. And you notice it's not New Japan Bushiroad aligning with anything related with Cyberfight. Right, so there's no NJPW, there's no DDT, there's no Pro Wrestling Noah. They're not doing nothing involving All Japan Pro Wrestling or Dragon Gate or any of the other Joshi groups, Sendai Girls, Wave, Ice Ribbon, what have you. So I just think it's them just like patting themselves on the back. But you know what? Patting yourselves on the back is like, Karen, it's only 6 inches away from a kick in the ass, and that's exactly what they're going to be doing ultimately with this announcement, is that they're just going to be falling on their ass, to be honest with you.
I'm cautiously optimistic, but I am curious to know what kind of card their New Japan show that they're having in April in Taipei is going to look like. Because it's one of those things where is it going to be what they've been doing with the international shows in the UK, the States, and in Oceania, where it's a mix of New Japan talent and local talent? Or are they going, now that there's been a regime change, are they going to start dispatching the entire roster and sending them over?
We'll find out.
Like they used to do pre-pandemic, which is what they should be doing anyway, now that travel's open internationally.
Now, this is true. So it's always a good thing if they can get more eyes on their product, especially kind of in the neighboring region of Asia. But anyways, we wanted to get that out of the way first. I thought it was kind of interesting interesting thing to start off with. Let us now talk about Stardom, Karen. What is going on? How was Wrestle Kingdom? I have not watched it yet.
Stardom Dream Queendom was pretty good for what it was. They were, they earlier in the year, Tam Nakano had to relinquish the World of Stardom Championship. So there was a scramble to get a new main event put in place, which just ended up being a rehash of Maika versus Suzuki, which was this year's 5-star Grand Prix final. Turned out to be a fantastic match, but a lot of the undercard were multi-person matches just to get everybody on the card. The New Japan Strong Women's Championship between Julia and Megan Bayne was pretty good. Not my favorite Julia match, but it was all right. Wonder of Stardom Championship. It was a good match. I don't necessarily agree with Saori Anno getting the belt. They made a whole big to-do about Tam Nakano being, out on injury, but they brought her to the venue. She gave opening remarks. And during both the Wonder and World of Stardom Championship matches, the camera kept cutting to Tam in the audience. And I'm like, you're making the match about the wrong person. It's not supposed to be about her right now. It's supposed to be about the women in the ring. That would be my biggest nitpick about the entire show. Because we know that Tam is out injured. We know that she's been struggling. She gave a lengthy, almost a 10-minute address at the beginning of the show. So it just kind of took me out of the moment a little bit. And then Mayu finally came back. She also had jammed her finger at Lone Star Shootout. So she had been off the shows for a couple weeks so she could heal up to have this. And then, on the morning of Wrestle Kingdom to finally defend her IWGP Women's Championship again, this time against Shuri, which I have yet to see the match because it is not on Stardom World yet, but I've heard very good things.
The IWGP Women's title was not defended.
No, but Mayu was on commentary for Tanahashi's match.
But she wasn't on the show.
She was on commentary at the show.
Why isn't she on the show? Why isn't she on the show?
She didn't even know why she wasn't on the show.
This is a clown show, dude.
That's what frustrated me the most, is that you have two women's champions that are both in Stardom. Why is there not a match on Wrestle Kingdom featuring, even if it's a non-title match where it's just the two champions, or do what they've done in the past previous years with other Stardom matches besides last year with Kairi? Make it a tag match. Just throw something on there. You have two of Stardom's biggest stars shouldering your championships for you.
Yes.
Give them an equal footing. Give them an equal opportunity.
Guess that New Japan Women's division that people were gloating about didn't actually fucking happen, did it?
There's no such thing as a New Japan Women's division.
You can just, queue up Steve Rogers taking laps around the Washington on Sam Wilson there. On your left, Sam. Anyways, good shows. Julia, speaking of Julia, what's going on with her? She just broke up Donna Del Mundo.
Well, I had a feeling when after the match, during the World of Stardom Championship match, and I actually was so tired after watching it, I didn't include it in my report. Instead of, while she was cornering for Maika during the match, Julia was adamantly and ironically cheering for Suzu from the Donna Del Mundo corner. And even after the match, she wished Maika well, but instead took Suzu arm in arm to the back after the match. So very much like, Shuri before her leaving Donna Del Mundo, Maika decided, well, I'm champion now. I need to go my own way. And she's leaving. She decided that she wanted to leave Donna Del Mundo. Tekla, I don't know what Stardom did to Tekla in 2023, but Tekla was like, I need a break. I'm tired. I can't do this right now. And she wanted to step out. And then meanwhile, Mai Sakurai is like, I'll stay with you, Julia. It's fine. And it's just like, so Julia just decided to dissolve arguably one of Stardom's most popular factions. And now we don't know. I don't know what's going on with her. I don't know if she and Suzu are going to form a new faction. And I think all that hinges on how long I know Julia has said that she has unfinished business in Stardom. I just don't know if this is the start of her wrapping up things. But if she was staying. I don't know why she couldn't just pass the faction on to someone else and then choose to leave herself. So
Right.
we'll have to see what is in store for them. But I think the last straw was Donna Del Mundo lost because Stardom did the Triangle Derby. Instead of doing it over the entire month of January, they made it a one-day trios tournament in which God's Eye, which was Shuri, now Mirai, and Amisore, defeated Donna Del Mundo by pinning Tekla to take the artist belts off of Donna Del Mundo.
Right.
So,
well, what do you think? Has Julia signed officially anywhere?
nope.
No. And
There's
a lot
lots of speculation,
Yeah.
but until I see her show up ringside, or you know, like she's seen in Orlando and not just like on vacation,
right.
I'm not believing anything.
You would speculate, you know, like we can speculate here that if she was going to go anywhere outside of Japan, outside of Stardom, it would probably be to WWE.
I would lean that way, yes.
Right, because like I think it's been pretty, you know, they've been pretty open that they're very interested.
They've also been more consistent with their treatment of their women's division as of late.
For sure, definitely,
and especially highlighting the Japanese talent in particular. So
Damage Control all the way. Big fan,
huge fan.
Damage Control, love Damage Control,
love them.
Let's talk about, but before we move on, Karen, let's talk about Tekla. Okay, she's taking a break. Maybe she's getting some offers because, you know, she's a very talented wrestler as well.
She deserves, if someone is throwing a bag of money at her, she deserves everything. The fact that she was not included in last year's 5-star Grand Prix was a crime.
Maybe that's it. Maybe she's just like, I'm tired of this shit.
She is an amazing talent, and she was stuck with Stardom during the pandemic. Like, she lives over there. She's been there and consistently outstanding. And I just feel like they keep denying her opportunities. She's always either, you know, Julia's, you know, she's tagging with Julia. She's in a trios with Julia. She had a very short run with the SWA belt, but she's never been able to do beyond that. And that's so frustrating.
I think if Julia were to go to WB, I can see her saying, "Hey, I got this friend who you might be interested in."
They would
she's
her up in a heartbeat.
She's a great worker. She's very charismatic. She speaks perfect Japanese and English. And I see her being someone like WWE would like take a look at her you know, her matches, listen to her talk, watch her charisma, and just like, yeah, we want her in NXT to replace some of the people getting called up. She'd be a great foundation. Julia, I don't see going to NXT. Hold on. I think Julia is a talent that they would just main roster right away with vignettes first, and then introduce her, give her like some really fancy schmancy name, playing up her Italian heritage, I think. But the fact that she's also half Japanese as well. But we shall see what 2024 brings for both Tekla and Julia. My personal opinion, I do think it's probably WWE, but we shall see. Stardom's loss will be American wrestling fans' gain. That's how we shall look at that. Stardom has some upcoming shows, but a lot of their talent is going to be missing it. I know for sure Momo Watanabe is because of COVID. Yeah. Unfortunately, hopefully she recovers safely and quickly. What about some other talents that are going to be missing shows, Karen?
Oh, I think Miyu Amasaki was pulled. Let's see. Let me pull up where did my list go? I don't have it there, but it was like a handful, like 3 or 4 girls that are all getting pulled from shows for various ailments. Oh, this bums me out. Hold on.
Oh, well, while you're looking that up, Karen,
sorry, you got it and I lost it. No,
it's okay. So, excuse me. While Karen's looking for that,
sorry.
They Bushiroad also did announce on the Stardom front that the Mayu Iwatani movie is going to be coming out on May 17th. It's gonna be very interesting to watch. It's called Runaway Wrestler, and yeah, it sounds pretty interesting. I think she actually has a very interesting life from what I remember from the Damian Abraham episode of The Wrestlers that featured Stardom. That in there, and there's the role of Kagetsu is going to be played by Shuri, which is really interesting. But yeah,
Really?
that's what it says in this
Ooh.
article, published by one Andrew Thompson over at postwrestling.com. So there you go. It's
wow. Yeah, I haven't looked at the cast of it all, but I know that Momo Kogo and Kairi Sane were doing part work for it as well.
So yeah, I think that'll be interesting.
I cannot find this list to save my life.
It's okay. We'll if you come across it, Karen, we'll go back to it. No worries.
Boo. Sorry, guys.
No problem. You can always read about excuse me, any kind of updates. I think I might be up here on one of my pages from postwrestling.com. Let me see.
I saw Momo and I saw that Kota Ibushi was getting surgery.
Yes, we'll talk about Kota Ibushi a little later on, but let's talk about All Japan Pro Wrestling. So they had a series of big shows the last couple of days. First we'll talk about is NJPW Mania X 2023, which is, I suppose, is going to be like kind of their big show at the end of the year. That's kind of like, seems like it's going to be like their WrestleMania or one of those big shows that they want to do. It emanated from the Yoyogi National Stadium Gymnasium #2. Very nice looking venue on TV. I watched the main event of this show, which was Katsuhiko Nakajima, the Triple Crown champion, taking on his former Kohai, former stablemate in Diamond Ring, and that would be Kento Miyahara, current All Japan Pro Wrestling ace. But let me just talk about the match itself, Karen. It's an excellent match. It's what you would expect from two talents like Nakajima and Kento Miyahara. But I think the thing that struck me the most was the beginning of the match, the entrance of Katsuhiko Nakajima, because he came out to the familiar strains of Bomaye, Bomaye, which is how the theme song of Antonio Inoki starts. He comes out to Antonio Inoki's theme song, which I was like, okay. And then he comes out wearing a white robe. He has shaved his head. It's bleach blonde. He shaved his head. He's wearing a white robe, and his gear is pretty much all white with some black piping.
Wasn't it like a Snoopy robe? I feel like there was a Snoopy. I guess I saw a picture of a Snoopy on there.
Yes, his robe looked like a cherry cloth robe with an image of Snoopy on it. Wonderful. But he is also sporting the signature red neck towel scarf of Antonio Inoki. So perplexing, to say the least, that this is never something that was in his history from before. So the rumors are, I've heard rumors from Strig over at Eastern Layer and some other people on the old Twitter machine. I refuse to call it X, by the way. But that Simon Inoki, the son-in-law of Antonio Inoki, is possibly hanging around backstage at All Japan, and that's why you see a lot of key members of the All Japan staff leaving. Takao Mori, who's a wrestler but also part of the front office. Excuse me. Shuji Ishikawa, who's the booker.
I remember seeing his name and then the list of people leaving.
He's leaving. I'm blanking on his name, but the longtime ring announcer is leaving as well. So it is interesting. But I would like, one of the things that I really liked about the match itself, though, is that it really does play into the history of Nakajima and Miyahara as Senpai Kohai. but also like how Miyahara has grown out of the shadow of not only like of Nakajima, but also their shared mentor, Kensuke Sasaki. And I don't know, like I'm not gonna go into details about it, but it's an excellent match. It's very hard hitting. Miyahara put on another great performance, and Nakajima is just consistently one of the best wrestlers.
Is that why he cut all his hair off? I like long hair Nakajima, and he keeps cutting. Katsu keeps cutting all his hair off.
No, I think I think it has to do with this like kind of new character that he's going with, being like an Enochiist, basically, you know, embracing Enochiism. But it was interesting. It was very, very, very interesting. Let's see what else happened. I think there was something else that happened. Let me just make sure it was on the right show. Anyways, what I want to talk about as well is the return of Shotaro Ashino from his arm injury. He came back in a tag match. He teamed with T-Hawk to take on Seigo Tachibana and your favorite jacket-wearing Jiro Ikemekishiro. And, you know, it is what it is. I'm not a fan of Jiro. A lot of people like him. They like the jacket. They like the entrance. I completely skip over it. I refuse to watch it in full. But Ashino, holy shit, he looked awesome. He totally like didn't feel like no ring rust, like he didn't even miss any time at all. He was gone for almost 6 months, I believe. He injured his arm at, you know, pretty much at the end of the Champion Carnival. So that was back in the spring. He's back, and then he also came out to challenge Nakajima following the defeat of Charlie Dempsey at the hands of Nakajima. And so in about a 20-minute match, Charlie Dempsey more than held his own with Katsuhiko Nakajima. And I say that if you put into context that this man is probably like 2 years into the business. He is the son of William Regal. He is a guy signed to the Performance Center and NXT for WWE. And this is part of kind of like this, who knows what kind of relationship it is between WWE and All Japan Pro Wrestling. Apparently, I was told that on the recent NXT shows that All Japan was like mentioned by name on their shows, because in reference to Charlie Dempsey going over to Japan Wrestling for them.
Interesting.
So it is not a one-way street. It's very reminiscent of like of when like Vader came in to no when Vader came in, when they got Dr. Death, Steve Williams, to come in, and they showed all this footage, and they got the Patriot Del Wilkes signing with, and they just showed all this All Japan footage, and to see like the images of Kenta Kobashi, Mitsuharu Misawa, Stan Hansen on WWE television was quite amazing at the time. But it is interesting that we'll see if there's going to be more talent exchanges. Like if maybe for WWE, they're thinking, hey, we should get some of the talent we have some seasoning overseas, and what's the best place to get someone seasoned as a professional wrestler but Japan. So maybe NXT will be sending some more talent over there, some of the people who need a bit more seasoning, versus like people who've been working on the indies and are ready to go and going up to main roster maybe within a year of debuting in NXT. We shall see. But those were both really good matches. I highly recommend them. And I think I would love to see Charlie Dempsey come back to Japan, particularly in All Japan. I think there's a lot of things he could do. I would love to see a match with him and Ashino. I think that would rock. One thing I want to say about Charlie Dempsey, he, like I said, he really reminds me of like that type of Timothy Thatcher catch wrestling, Billy Robinson kind of influenced wrestler. Like a lot of grappling, a lot of working on the ground, but I think just a little bit more dynamic than maybe Thatcher is. I like Timothy Thatcher. I'm a huge fan, but I know Timothy Thatcher is not necessarily for everyone with his catch wrestling style. But you have not watched these matches yet, correct, Karen?
They're on my to-do list for tomorrow.
Yes, I think definitely, you have to watch them in order, the Miyahara match and then the Dempsey match. I do recommend the Shotaro Ashino return match. Very fun. And I'm excited to see what is 2024, because I do think if he was not injured, Shotaro Ashino would have become the Triple Crown champion. I do think to some degree, Yuma Aoyagi's 2023 was supposed to be Ashino's 2023. So I think
they can swap.
They can swap. I think Nakajima versus Ashino sounds like an amazing match.
Money.
To me.
So right, I found it. The 4 girls. All right. Okay. So Miyu Amasaki was going to miss today's Saturday the 6th through the 8th, pending a influenza test. Tekla will be out for some time due to a previous neck injury that requires additional treatment. Hina injured her collarbone and she is out until further notice. And Mai Sakurai missed Saturday's show due to a sternum injury, but she may be back sooner rather than later.
Okay. Well, speedy recovery.
Momo Watanabe having COVID now.
Speedy recovery to all those talents, and hopefully they can come back to touring and making fans happy with their appearances on Stardom shows, and stay injury and illness free, please. Let's move on to, let's see, where am I here? We're going to go to Noah, the new year 2024. And I will just say this, Karen. I did not watch all of this show. I did watch Tomohiro Ishii taking on Masaki Kitamiya, which I really enjoyed. But I mean, even though Kitamiya had a job out to the New Japan guy, I don't care if it's Ishii. Like, he should not be jobbing out to like the New Japan guy. He should have been put over in this match. That's my big thing about this match.
It was the trade-off to Shiozaki getting his win back over Kojima. I think it was a tit for tat on that one.
Yeah. As you said, Karen, I didn't watch this match, but 2 of your favorites, Go Shiozaki and that
match is booked just for me. That was booked for me. Yeah, it was just for me.
and Kojima. Okay, so I watched the tail end of this match. Okay, and the thing that stood out for me was the formation of this new faction led by Go Shiozaki. It's called Team Noah. Very, very original. Very creative.
There could have been so many other names.
Yeah, Team Washed Up would be my number one choice for the name of this team, because I am sorry, Go. I was a big fan, but like this dude needs to really think about going to another stage of his career in wrestling. I don't think it's in the ring anymore. It also includes Akitoshi Saito and Muhammad Yone. These guys are well past their due date. Just stick the fork in them. They are done. Get them lower on the card. They don't need to be in a faction. And I think Junta Miyawaki is the other one in this thing. I can't remember. They have at least
Atsushi Kotoge, I think is
Atsushi Kotoge, who's doing nothing. This dude's been in the company too long. This is where, the problem.
And Hiroki.
Yeah, no.
Or
oh yeah,
yes, right. Whatever you want to call him.
No one fucking cares about him either. These guys have been. This is the problem with Japanese wrestling, Karen. People stay in the same company for too long. There's no cycling like back in the old days of territories where people could freshen up, go to new territory, freshen up. There's none of that, and there's some good parts of that, but there's I think the big detriment is people just get stale. They move down the card, and no one believes in them anymore as draws or people to get rallied behind, as far as I think they're going to win this match or they're going to win this title or whatever. But these t-shirts, my God, they are so bargain basement. It says, what did it say again? Was it I Am Noah or Team Noah?
It literally says Team Noah in green.
Team Noah. Yes. It's
Times New Roman. It's very uninspired, and it makes me so sad.
It's like if I went
great shirts in that company.
If I went to fucking Times Square and went to the cheapest t-shirt making shop, and they said, we'll make you anything you want for $10 US. This is what would come out if I said, can I get green font Times New Times anyways,
Times New Roman?
That's right, Times New Roman. And can I get 4 of them or 6 of them? Yeah, $60. Do it. This is what would turn out. These things, I will say this. I listened to the English commentary for these matches, and I shit you not, Stuart Fulton and fucking Mark Pickering both said these are going to be hot sellers. Fuck, are you scared? Are you guys kidding me? No, they are not. Maybe only to Go Shizaki's most diehard like female fan base are gonna buy these fucking shirts. No one else with any sense of like dignity or self-respect will wear these fucking shirts because they're god ass ugly.
In my defense, as a Go Shiozaki fangirl, I will not be buying that shirt.
See, like I said, the most ardent. You are a Go Shiozaki fangirl, but you are not like blinded.
No, my wallet says no. Do better. Yes.
But there is that. What else did I watch? I did watch the Ogawa ZSJ Tanahashi Hayata match.
That was the match.
Yeah, it was there. But I skipped over pretty much everything else, and then I went to the GHC heavyweight title match. Keno defending against his former Kongo stablemate Manabu Soya. Soya came out. He's like, he elevated himself, and I've always been someone who's like kind of been up and down with Soya. When he was in All Japan and teaming with Sonata and holding the All Asia tag team titles, big fan. I was like, this guy's got something. Definitely got. He formed a great tag team with Takao Mori again, and then he was part of the Wrestle One Exodus when Muto left, and he went along with Sonata, Kai, whole bunch of people that should have been in fucking All Japan and helping take that company to another level. My God, with the wasted potential, Karen. I can't even don't even get me started on the Wrestle One Exodus. I'm so angry about that still. But he came out. He's kind of been toiling in the mid card, tag team wrestler in Congo, and he was actually one of the really big push acts in Wrestle One, along with Ashino and Keiji Muto. Those were like the big guys that were given the ball to run with as champions over in Wrestle One. So when he came into Noah, I thought, okay, he's been slotted. That's just his role. He's going to be a tag team wrestler. He's going to be part of Congo. He's going to be just a mid card guy. But my God, he knew, like, and his age, he's in his 40s as well. That's a kind of a hindrance for him. But he decided, fuck this. I'm going to go all out. I'm going to do topes. I'm going to like take every imaginable kick to the head from Keno and just power my way through this. And he did. And I said, listen, you have just made someone that you can slot in to a title match for any of the belts, national title, the world title, any of the tag titles, whatever. You can put Soya in these roles. And I think if you create an interesting story for him, like a redemption arc, so to speak, or something along those lines, you have the potential to create a guy who fans can get behind and will draw money for you. But I have no faith that Noah's going to do this because their booking is terrible, as we would talk about. But hey, you know what? Keno, fuck, this guy is so awesome. I'm looking, and I've only recently become a Keno fan. Like I used to think,
welcome.
Because I was like, why is this guy so fucking angry all the time? Why is he always yelling?
Because he wants the company to do better. That's why.
He's actually shooting.
Angry.
He's kind of like the non-tranquilo version of Naito. What Naito is in New Japan, complaining about the company and like criticizing it like as a shoot. Keno is that, but he doesn't just not tranquilo. He's just fucking angry all the time.
He lights himself on fire and kicks people.
This is true. Yes, but like I'm excited to see where it's going. He's going to fight.
Shiozaki.
He's going to fight Shiozaki. Yes. My favorite part was he said I will put. He said when Shiozaki challenged, he said no.
I know.
However, if You keep saying I am Noah, which is and basically said to Goshizaki, that's bullshit. You are not Noah. Okay. You're not in the fucking company half the time because you're always injured. I will put up the title, but you have to put up your catchphrase. I am Noah. So if Keno beats Goshizaki, not only will he retain the GC heavyweight title, Goshizaki will hopefully never say I am Noah ever again. So you can understand who you might guess who I'm going to be rooting for in this match, Karen. That would be the angry man himself, Keno.
Oh yeah. My fangirling for Go Shiozaki aside, I want Keno to have a long reign with this belt. Also, I need when the sound that I sounded when Manabu Soya did that tope suicida, I just could not believe that he went for it. I need him to have bare minimum the GHC national title. I need him to have a run with it.
Yeah.
I need them to put a singles title on him because he made himself into a star in that match.
We don't need Drew McIntyre light holding that belt anymore. Okay, so
Jack Morris, and it's not just because he's a good-looking guy. I like him. I think
he's might be the only good-looking guy in that group. By the way, I'll give that hint to him. But look, before we move on to the main event, I'm using air quotes here
because the Keno Soya match, that was my main event.
That was the main event. Like honestly,
I checked out afterwards.
We'll talk about the main event, but before we get to the main event, Karen, I want to talk about Jake Lee's entrance gear because this motherfucker has now gone full Oswald Cobblepot on us. Like he's got a fucking top hat, he's got a fucking monocle, he's got like. I don't know. He's got like studded spikes on his fucking.
He's in his steampunk phase. Leave him alone.
He's in his stupid fucking Weibo face, is what he is. This is like, okay. Mark your calendars, folks. Jake Lee has gone more full Weibo than fucking Kenny Omega ever has, and his entrance gear is worse than any Weibo bullshit Ken Chan ever did in New Japan Pro Wrestling. There, I said it. I fucking said it. Anyways, Jake. Just be a shooter, Jake. That is what you are. You're a great wrestler. Just be a fucking wrestler. Don't have to be a fucking character from some Weibo fucking manga that no one's ever fucking read, okay? By some guys and gals who are like working like the Tokyo Comic-Con circuit selling their shit from their fucking tables and not actually getting published in real life. Anyways, rants over about that. Let's move on. The main event. Naomichi Marufuji, Kota Ibushi, two legends of Japanese professional wrestling, and they produced a fucking dud. I am sorry. This was sad. I wasn't angry watching this, Karen. I was sad. I was like, oh my God, why is this happening? I felt bad for Ibushi, but I felt more bad for Marufuji because he had to try to pull off a miracle. He could not because Kota Ibushi was too messed up. He is going to go get he's going to go undergo surgery for his ankles. But even before that, he was not in any shape to be in that ring. Like if he was like walking around backstage and I can't imagine it was not noticeable. If it was, someone should have called an audible and said, okay, we're going to have the match, but it's going to be earlier in the card and we're moving everything up. Okay. We're going to put this in the middle, maybe before intermission. You don't have to explain. You just fucking have the match. And then Soya, the match that Soya and Keno produced, no one's going to go home unhappy from if you're in that audience. If you got that as the last thing you saw from this show, no one's going to be like, I didn't get Marufuji Ibushi last. Well, if you put it earlier, people would have forgotten it by the time you got to fucking Soya versus Keno. So that is what it is. Like I don't know what's going on with Kota Ibushi. I think there's some issues physically, mentally, emotionally with this guy. I think the tail end of his run in New Japan, something happened. I don't know what it is, but it is evident in the ring. I hope he again, like I do think it's like, if you look at Kota Ibushi and Kenny Omega, like both guys Kenny took the high road, I felt, and just said, I can't perform right now to the level I want to perform at, and I'm gonna take some time off. I'm gonna be out indefinitely to heal up. I applaud him for that because I think that's a brave thing to do in professional wrestling because many people historically don't do that.
Correct.
Kota Ibushi did not do that. I think, but though
Correct.
I think it's a kind of a cautionary to wrestlers out there. And I would say, someone like Will Ospreay should definitely look at these two guys and just think about evolving the style. And I do think Will has really evolved since his from 3 years ago, even.
Yeah.
But this is the future if you keep on doing a high risk style and just pushing your body to the limit. Yes, you're going to give us amazing matches that we will appreciate at the time, but then you run the risk of kind of, becoming something that you becoming a shadow of yourself.
Yeah, and having it all come crashing down at the one time you don't want it to be.
No, but and then to cap off this match, which I cannot believe that they didn't call an audible and Ibushi actually won. Do you think it's the end of Ibushi and Noah? Because basically they sent out Jake Lee and Kaito Kiyomiya to tell him to get out of the ring.
I don't know if what the direction was. I didn't know if they were coming out to challenge him or coming out to tell him you need to go to the hospital now. Because even when watching him walk up the stairs, he didn't even clear the screen before he got on his hands and knees and crawled the rest of the way to the back. Like you see him on camera crawling to the back or crawling behind the screen. This match had no right being as long as it was. I understand the magnitude of it. I understand the importance of it. Had this been, 5 years ago, peak Marufuji, peak Ibushi, sure, make it the main event. But like you said, I was really sad watching this match because I was still on I had the high of Keno versus Soya, and I was bare minimum. I feel like they were trying to match that, but it just nothing connected. It just bummed me out. I sincerely hope that while Ibushi is getting the surgery he needs on that ankle, that he considers potentially anything else, any other work that needs to be done, just get it all done and stay away and heal up as much as possible and give consistent thought to if he can still do this at the level that people are expecting of him. And if not, either change your style or consider a career change. Go into training. He has his own dojo to start training people.
He does have the benefit, though I'm not sure what AEW contracts are structured like, but
yeah,
he does have the benefit that he is a contracted AEW talent that hopefully that includes covering medical costs, even whether it's in America or Japan, which I imagine would be in Japan. That he doesn't have to necessarily worry about money because
they also have nationalized healthcare in Japan. So
this is true, but for the extra stuff that you can just call up, the accounting department at AEW and say, hey, can I get I need some extra money to buy some groceries and take care of my mom and stuff like that because hopefully, I want to see Kota Ibushi have a healthy life. I don't necessarily need to see him come back to the ring. If if I can just rewatch a lot of 2018, 17, Kota Ibushi, if I really want my Kota Ibushi fix. I don't need to see anything new. If it means that him and his fans can't be happy with the performances he can give.
And if his fans truly care about him, they'll want him to be healthy. They'll want him to prioritize, living beyond being just a wrestler. He's not a sideshow. He's not a circus animal. He needs to be treated like a human being. And if he's not in the right headspace or physical space, all he's doing is he's putting himself at risk. He's putting his colleagues at risk. He's putting, and it's not worth it.
No,
it really isn't worth it.
There are times like he risked the health and safety of Marufuji in that match, and the final point I'll make is that before he injured his ankles, he was not in any shape to be in that ring, and just the botched moonsault from the second rope turnbuckle to the floor, where he injured his ankles, just like amplified the state of his physical well-being in that match. So I do hope maybe like Kenny Omega, reaches out to him, just says, dude, just
let's have a talk.
Chill,
we
dude.
need to talk.
I'm taking time off. I'm trying to get myself better. You need to do the same thing. Hopefully someone has had that conversation. Hopefully maybe it's Kenny Omega. We shall see. But let's move on. We're moving on to New Japan Pro Wrestling. Karen, you wrote the report on the site for Wrestle Kingdom.
Very long. Said that is correct. It is very long.
It's very long. Well, it's a very long show.
Sorry, my Quebecois is coming out from my mom's side. Sorry.
That's okay.
I spent 2 weeks at home with my mom. She talks to her sisters in French. It was a thing. Oh,
that's cool. There you go. So I did not watch all of Wrestle Kingdom. I watched the top 3 matches. I watched the triple threat match for the global belt, which, by the way, I think the design of it is beautiful. I think it looks great. It harkens back to old style IWGP designs, which I'm a big fan of. So there's that. I just don't like the name of it. I just think they could have come up with a much more interesting name for this belt.
My biggest beef with it is they are calling it the Global Heavyweight Championship. It is a IWGP GHC Championship. You know who has a GHC Championship?
That's right.
Pro Wrestling Noah.
That's right.
There was a litany of other names. They could have gone with an international championship. They could have called it the Intercontinental Championship. Literally anything. But the fact that it just like when you see them call it the Global Championship on the English site, but when they list it on the Japanese website as Global Heavyweight Championship, it's. What's
the difference between that and the world title? Like they're synonymous with one another. You know what I mean?
That's the thing is that we only have one planet, guys. The globe and the world. It's the same thing.
It's my problem with the AW International title. It's like you have a world title. Why do you need to have a belt called the international title? What's the difference?
I mean, if the international title had like a stipulation where, much like Stardom's now allegedly retired SWA, where it's like 2 people of the same nationality can't fight each other for the belt, then like, sure, call it an international belt. But it's just like, I feel like there is New Japan, as we've talked many times before, has too many belts.
Yes.
If they were going to make this belt, I would have them take the New Japan Strong Openweight Championship and melded it into this belt.
Well, that's part of the Triple Crown at AW, Karen.
That's not their belt. That is a hill I'm going to die on. That is not their belt.
Someone needs to tell TK that. By the way, thinking TK, I saw screenshots of this man going insane watching Wrestle Kingdom. Bless his heart, he's still a big wrestling fan at heart, even though he's like the second biggest promoter in pretty much in the industry these days after the WWE. But I watched Ospreay, Finlay, Mox. I watched Okada, Bryan, and I watched Naito versus Sonata. Of the 3, Karen, I might surprise people. I loved the triple threat match the most.
Really?
Yes, I thought it was awesome.
I liked it until Gabe Kidd and Alex Coughlin showed up. I was fine with all of it up until that point because
I was fine with that.
It on his own.
I was fine with it.
Like, nuts.
I will tell you why, because it did not necessarily play directly into the finish of the match. Yeah. It establishes these guys even more as kind of the enforcers for Finlay. Yeah. Which I think is important for him to like have to try to elevate him to a level where fans are believing. To his credit, I know a lot of people aren't on board with David Finlay, but he is getting massive fucking heat. And I don't think it's go away heat. I think it's like, I will pay money to see people beat the shit out of you heat, which is the good kind of heat, right?
Correct.
So first of all, the entrances, Moxley pretending he's like the fucking Red Hood from DC Comics. Cool. Also, Moxley now wears kick pads, which is such. Let me just put on my my fucking gear review hat here. Moxley before was just like wearing his shoes with his training pants. He looked like some fucking dad going to fucking Walmart to pick up like some fucking potato chips for his fucking kids because they said, "Dad, we want some potato chips. We don't have any." All right, let me just get out of bed like on a Sunday morning or something. He didn't look. It's not a good look. These kick pads have now enhanced Jon Moxley.
Good.
Makes him look like a real fucking fighter. He's a tough man. I am a big fan of Jon Moxley, but the dad pants, no, not a good look. The dad pants with the kick pads, however, now he looks like a real fucking fighter, and I am all aboard. 2024 is the year for me, for American wrestling. My fandom of both CM Punk, yes, I said it. I love me some Phil, and fucking Jon Moxley. I'm fucking all aboard the Mox train if he is going to be wearing these fucking kick pads. Let it be noted.
He has to protect his knees and his shins, man. That death jitsu or whatever he's calling it these days.
I love it.
Dad jitsu,
I love it.
whatever.
I love it. Death jitsu, love that shit. I'd buy that shit, but it also says 0 fucks given. I'm not wearing that in public.
Yeah, no.
The death jitsu, I think is cool. The 0 fucks given, I don't, I don't wear. I might use profanity quite judiciously,
but you do not advertise it upon your person.
I don't wear it. I don't wear profanity. I just speak it. That's all. Anyway,
speak your truth. It's fine.
I love this match. I thought because when Ospreay took those two out by doing the swanton off the top rope through the tables on both of them,
the way the tables did and did not break.
Yeah, Gabe Kidd I think bounced like 3 feet into the air, and then Conklin just went straight through. It was kind of funny, actually.
Alex Conklin had that record scratch. Yeah, that's me. You're probably wondering how I got here. Look on his face. He just sat there because there was nowhere for him to go. They had to probably roll, tip him over and shake him out of the table.
I like the structure of the match, though. Let me just say about the match itself. I like the structure of the match. I like the fact that before the match, Ospreay said we're gonna have it. I'm gonna have a truce. I propose a truce with Moxley. We're gonna take out Finlay, and then he and I are gonna have a singles match, which is how the game plan worked. And I thought it was great. It was fantastic to see them working together, not as allies, but just as okay, I hate you less than I hate this guy. Ospreay,
the enemy of my enemy is my friend. You know that.
Exactly. So
I forgot to ask though, what was your take on Ospreay's Assassin's Creed Ubisoft endorsed fancy schmancy gear?
I mean, he's always been doing shit like that.
I've never played Assassin's Creed, so I don't know which.
I think this version of Will Ospreay is better than when he first started the United Empire.
Yeah.
I was not a fan of that version of him, the look, or the character. I think this version of Ospreay, this is so kind of such a blow to New Japan, I feel, because this guy is so over. This Tokyo Dome crowd was chanting his name at various points, and they are so into him. I think because they're realizing, we are losing someone special.
Yeah.
And we want to show our appreciation for him before he leaves. I think he's going to do part-time in New Japan for sure. But they're not going to see him regularly.
Moxley can do it, so can he. But it was I feel like they could have saved the announcement of him signing with AEW after the Dome. I don't think it would have impacted the response he would have received either way. But it was one of those things, his entrance alone felt like it was very much it was him coming to terms with him leaving.
Yes.
In front of 27,000 of his close personal friends.
That's right. So, and I thought the work from all three was exemplary. Mox was awesome. Ospreay is always awesome in these situations, but I think David Finlay really kind of stepped up and really kind of stood his own with two of the biggest names in professional wrestling. So I look forward to David Finlay as your new global champion, GHC champion. IWGP GHC champion. Brian Okada, great, wonderful. What an awesome entrance by Okada with the UV light, changing the color of his robe. But I like this match a lot. I didn't love it. I felt there's a certain je ne sais quoi missing from it.
Yeah.
I can't place my finger on it. I would say I did prefer it to the Forbidden Door match, which I saw live in
Same.
Toronto. But I think there's a rubber match to be had, you know, and maybe they should do it at Forbidden Door 3, held in Toronto in June, huh? Huh, AW? What do you think about that, huh?
Is Forbidden Door in June in Toronto again this year or next year?
Listen, I actually know some higher ups in the AW office.
Oh,
Pardon
me, Monsieur Park.
I may or may not have asked that question over lunch, and I may or may not have gotten a straight answer about it. So that's all I can say about that.
Son of a biscuit.
Anyway, if it is, I think they should make fucking Toronto fucking Forbidden Door like town. You know, like how all was all out, all in is always Chicago.
Yeah.
I mean, Chicago gets enough.
Was in New York. The what is it?
The Arthur Ashe show, right?
Yeah, that one.
Listen, not everything has to be in fucking Chicago, folks. I love Chicago. Like, I take any reason to go visit Chicago any day of the week. I love that city. But you got to spread the wealth, TK. Spread the wealth, baby. Spread the wealth. Toronto and people will fucking come. Though we are getting 3 WB shows in a row.
I saw that in July, right?
In July, yes. So I don't know. I have not talked to John or Wei about this, but if some announcements coming regarding like Toronto that weekend, who knows? We shall see what happens.
4th of July weekend. It's so expensive to fly that.
It is. It's it's weird that they're having 4th of July weekend shows not in America, but in Canada. But anyways.
That's probably why they're having it, is that it's not I know it's like the 5th or the 7th or whatever, but
yes, it's the day after the 4th of July.
Flying is stupidly expensive at summertime.
Of course. So. But and let's get to the main event. I thought it was a good match, Sonata versus Naito, but I'll be honest with you, Karen, I don't care about either of these dudes. I don't care about Naito's fucking story anymore. I don't care. Oh, he's just got to do the roll call now. The LIJ roll call in the Tokyo Dome. Like, I don't care. How many it's like bleeding the stone dry with Naito. Like, yes, he is so probably the top merch seller in that company. He is so immensely popular. I'm not denying these things. I'm just saying, for me personally, I don't care about his story anymore because I think it peaked in 2020.
Yeah,
you know, when
I'm hoping that the story is now finished. Because the match was good. Was it the best match I've seen between Sonata and Naito? No. I just wanted more than anything for Naito to get the belt and do the roll call so we can move on from Naito being unable to finish said roll call. However, as soon as he started and Evil came out, I laughed. I laughed so hard because I was like, they can't do this twice now. They can't do this for another 4 years, can they? So I was somewhat relieved that Sonata still being LIJ at heart stopped it so Naito could finish the damn story.
That's right. I think you and everyone else were quite relieved.
It was a collective sigh of relief around the world.
I mean, I don't think Naito's going to have that belt for long, to be quite honest with you. I don't think he's dropping it back to Sonata. I do think someone else is waiting in the wings. We'll find out who that will be down the line. But I do think Naito's, winding it up. I think he's multiple surgeries for his eyes, his knees, tons of stuff. I think Naito is also a very, smart historian of wrestling, that he knows, like, I can't keep being in the spot because it's not good for the rest of the roster. It's not good for the younger wrestlers. I also get the feeling he cares about the welfare of younger wrestlers, his kohais. And so, like, he can let's just make as much money as I can from merch and paydays, and however their pay structures is organized over in New Japan. But I mean, he'll always have a job. He'll always be like someone that they call as guest commentator, or he could even become a trainer or a manager or something like that. I don't know, on-screen role, but this is not as an active wrestler. I think it's fine. I hope this is it for him as far as like headlining, like winning G1s and being IWGP champion. But yeah, so for me the real main event was indeed, I feel, Brian Okada. But my favorite match of the three that I watched was the triple threat match between Ospreay, Finlay, and Moxley.
Did you happen to see Takagi versus Tama Tonga?
I did not, but I hear it's good.
I would recommend it.
Okay,
it is worth a watch if you like the hard hitting matches that don't overstay its welcome. Because when Takagi beat Tama for the belt, the match was 25 minutes. This one is sub 15, and it's the like. If the New Japan guys, they've gotten the memo about the 15-minute time limit. You can do a lot with 15 minutes. You don't need to drag it out into like exemplary theater when there's 11 matches on the card.
No. Well, speaking of a show that had 11 matches on the card, I don't know if it had 11 matches. I didn't count them, but let's go to January 5th. Karen, we're going to go to the Sumida City Gymnasium. Have you been to the Sumida River, by the way?
I think so. Is that the one with the gold the building,
the building.
The gold flame on it that people say it looks like a golden poo? I don't know.
Yes, when I first saw that's the Asahi building, right?
I think so.
Yes, it's the Asahi building, which is, by the way, everyone, it's a drink company. It's a beverage company.
Beverage company.
Yes, they produce beer, but also they produce coffee, as I recall. Yes.
Yes.
So that is a cup of coffee, I think, a golden cup of coffee, and is
that what that's supposed to?
I think so. That's what someone told me a long time ago.
Who's gonna tell them?
Because I said, why is there a giant turd in the middle of Tokyo on top of that building? And they said, no, that's a cup of coffee, and that's the steam coming from it. Oh,
no.
Okay,
that's not what it looks like.
Anyways, it's the Asahi building near the Sumida River. I went on the riverboat tour, which is quite fun. You get to see a lot of really cool things along that route in Tokyo.
More touristy stuff next time I go to Japan. I haven't.
It helps if you live there.
Yeah.
For 10 years, you get to do a lot of touristy stuff.
I want to live there again. I miss it.
I like to live there again. I never want to work for a Japanese company again.
Yeah, no.
Just put it that way.
I need a rich anonymous benefactor just to send me over there with a boatload of money and to be left alone to my own devices.
I just want to win the lottery and just get they have a millionaire's visa.
I saw that. I was wondering how a lot of those YouTubers got to just move to Japan with no problem. You need the bank.
If you can prove you have at least a certain amount of money within six figures, Japan will issue a visa. Nice. Japan will issue a visa. I think it's a year long. That's probably easy to renew. Yeah. Easily to renew. Just say, yeah, I still have over $500,000 in the bank. I can spend it, and I can spend it all here. Anyways, there's a millionaire's visa. Oh yeah, if Neil Flanagan wins the Euro Millions, he's gonna hook me up. He's gonna be my benefactor.
That doesn't affect me though. I need someone to take care of me.
Even though I refuse to acknowledge him as my man, he's still gonna take care of me because that's how me and the Flanagan roll. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, Tokyo, Japan, Sumida City Gymnasium, 2,910 people listed as the attendance. New Year's Dash 2024. The last time I got to see New Year's Dash, the only time I got to see New Year's Dash live was back in 2020 with sitting right next to John Pollock, and across the ring was Fraser sitting with Wei. It's a good time we had.
I was at that show as well.
But you were not part of Post Wrestling at the time.
Karen. I was not. I was by the entrance ramp next to Jushin Thunder Liger. No big deal, but
that's okay.
It's fine.
Can you imagine if things were different? Like, you would have been hanging out with us and being part of these amazing pictures that are showing up on Martin Bush's timeline.
I'm so jealous. I just remember seeing you and Wei trying to get into Korakuen Hall while I was desperately trying to find a locker for all my stuff. That's all I remember seeing you, saying hello, and then just running away.
That's right. But if it was things were different, now it'd be like, fuck that locker. You just get to talk to us for 10 minutes, right?
I know.
Get your locker sorted out beforehand. Anyways,
I would travel lighter. That would be my goal next time.
Yes, I always traveled light when I was in Tokyo, coming from Numazu. But let's get on to the show. Let's run through it. Our first match, the Shacho of New Japan Pro Wrestling, the president of New Japan, had a match with Ryusuke Taguchi, who wasn't officially for the World Television title, but Taguchi requested it before the match started, and Tanahashi, being the president, said, "Okay, let's have a match." And they had a nice little sub 6-minute match. That's all you need from Taguchi these days. Tanahashi retains his IWGP title, but before he could leave the ring, there was a video playing, and out comes one Matt Riddle to announce that he wants to challenge Tanahashi for this belt, and he will be taking on Tanahashi. Where they
have not announced the date or location yet.
Right. So there's a lot of outcry about Matt Riddle showing up in New Japan Pro Wrestling, and I feel like everyone who feels like negative towards it, totally justified. Everyone should. Personally, like I don't care, in the sense that, like, I don't, there's a lot of like issues, things surrounding Matt Riddle, but here's the thing, like, I want to point out is, like, New Japan doesn't care about any of these things because he was not convicted of anything. He worked for WB for many years, amidst like kind of the things coming out during speaking out. They didn't care. Let me tell you something about professional wrestling companies, especially in Japan. I think people need to, of course, if you feel negatively, express your, like, if you feel strongly about something, express your opinions, for sure. Definitely. Don't change the way you feel about anything, but don't pedestal wrestling companies because your favorites work there. It doesn't mean that company is altruistic. It doesn't mean that company cares about morals or ethics, because most of them don't. You think WB is the only wrestling company out there full of, like, people with questionable past or anything like that? No. New Japan is the same. Probably All Japan and Pro Wrestling Noah, the same. AW, definitely the same. TNA, Impact, whatever you want to fucking call it, the same. Don't say this because I love these wrestlers, I love this wrestling company, they are perfect, they are good. There's no such thing as a good wrestling company. I think, again, like, I'm not saying, like, do I care if Matt Riddle's in New Japan Wrestling? I think, like, I don't really care where he works, because, like, I don't really find him that interesting, to be quite honest. I didn't think he was doing anything really interesting in WB the last fucking 2 years, being a part of, like, a tag team with Randy Orton, to be honest with you. But they want to see that, they want to hire that. This also let's talk about Nick Nemeth, former Dolph Ziggler, showing up at Wrestle Kingdom to challenge David Finlay. I was like, for both these guys, I'm like, why? You just hired 2 fucking cast-offs. With Nick Nemeth, I don't know. Like, I don't know what he's been doing before he got released. He got laid off from WB in that company. I don't know what he's gonna bring. Like, well, I have a wait and see attitude with him. But, like, that video he released, the where he's fighting zombies and shit, I was like, watching it, like, what the fuck does this have to do with being a professional wrestler? It looks more like a reel for, like, trying to launch, like, a fucking pilot for a sitcom. You know what I mean? Like, on fucking CW or something like that. I don't know what it has to do with him being, like, a professional wrestler that you should pay attention or care about. The fact that he's getting hot-shotted, the only thing I think about him being put into a program immediately with Finlay is that he should be putting Finlay over. That should be the goal of hiring Dolph Ziggler and putting him in a program immediately with David Finlay, is that he should be there to get Finlay fucking over, to establish him as, I can beat these guys from the fucking WWE who are coming over here. Like, the joke in wrestling is, like, what Tony Khan is called Jacksonville Dixie, right? Because he hires a lot of ex-WWE wrestlers. Well, guess what? Fucking Ghetto and Tanahashi are now fucking Tokyo Dixie because they're doing the same thing. They're like all these people that used to work in WWE, they'll take them. Okay, it doesn't matter if they have good reputations or not, they will take them. And for some, great. But for some people, it's like, why? And I'm like that with both Ziggler and Riddle. Why? Like, I don't. You have all this fucking talent that you are cultivating in your own system. Fucking push them. What the fuck? You have someone like, let's say Tom Lawler, who's always available, who has established himself with your fan base. Why don't you bring him over more? Why don't you fucking push this guy? Why don't you push Coughlin? Huh? Why don't you do tons of other things with the talent that's already signed to your fucking company? No, but we would rather just forget to put them to the side and push these guys that come from fucking Vince land. I think it's sad. And I on that level, like that's where I feel why are you signing Nick Nemeth? Does his fucking brother come with this? Because he was at this fucking show too.
I don't know what the deal is. When they got escorted to ringside during the IWGP New Japan Strong Tag Team Dual Championship match, I thought the plan was that they were going to challenge ELP and Hikuleo after the match.
We'll talk about the atrocity of that challenge coming.
And then that got turned on its head to be not the case. John and Wei, discussed everything in regards to Matt Riddle and all the situation around that on Rewind to SmackDown. I do recommend, if you guys haven't heard their clip or their talk about it, give it a listen. For those who have issue with this booking, much like any other booking, and this is I know it's easy to quote, tweet, and ratio anything on Twitter or whatever. New Japan and every other credible wrestling site has a contact form. Yes, you have to use your full name. Yes, you have to put your phone number. Yes, you have to actually put your actual email address. But if you feel this strongly about something, bullying the social media person, that's not going to get anything done. If you want to exact change, do it diplomatically. Think about what you want to say and then submit the comment form. That would be my biggest piece of advice.
Yeah. Organize people.
And
organize.
Your feelings for those who are upset by it, just like every other choice that is done in wrestling in regards to speaking out or the lack of, advancement of the genre as a whole since speaking out, your feelings are valid.
Yes.
But you need to make your voices heard in a productive way. And I don't necessarily know if subtweeting or quote tweeting will actually accomplish anything that way. That's all I'm going to say about the whole situation.
I would just say, I was just again, I'm so disappointed in company A or B. It's don't think of them as being any better than any other wrestling company. You won't have to be disappointed ever again.
Yeah.
That's all I got to say about that. But we'll move on to the rest of the show. Let me get my notes up here. Hold on a sec. Okay, so then we had a tag team match, Bishamon, Hiroki Goto, and Yoshihashi taking on the very fun team, though you can't have much confidence in them, of Kaito Kiyomiya and Ryohei Oiwa. I like this team. Oiwa is this boy's like a growing boy. He's beefy.
Yeah.
They had a fun match. I'm constantly perplexed at the booking of Kaito Kiyomiya, Karen. This is not how he should be used by New Japan. Either just use him as let's create kind of an interpromotional interest in this game. I don't know anyone from Noah who's coming over to watch them, because if you're a Noah fan, if you're a Kiyomiya fan from Noah, you're not going to watch him in New Japan anymore because it's sad. Yeah. It's disappointing. I know I follow some people who are Japanese wrestling fans of Japanese natives who love Pro Wrestling Noah, they keep talking about Kiyomiya going to New Japan. They're like, why? Stop, Kaito, stop it. You make me sad when you go there because they don't respect you. They don't like you. And I don't get it. Like Kaito Kiyomiya should either just say, fuck this, I'm leaving Noah. I'm gonna go join their listen, if he went over there and became a young lion, they would treat him with more respect. I will tell you that right now. But they had a little fun match. Nothing to it really. Next was the Gorillas of Destiny, El Phantasmo, Hikuleo, the current, what are they called? The combined World Tag Team Champions. They're the strong open weight tag champions.
They
the
say
IWGP.
both of them, and I'm just like, just merge the titles at this point.
Yeah.
If you're not going to make New Japan, if you're not going to keep New Japan Strong as its own brand and just dissolve the belts, merge them into the other one. Merge them into the IWGP belts if you're not going to take it seriously as a brand anymore.
So, Phantasmo Hikuleo, the current, well, let's just call them the World Tag Team Champions. They defeated the team. Is this their official name? Youngblood is their official name. Oscar Lube and Yuto Nakashima. Is that just something? This is something I've seen on Cage Match.
It's news to me that a Young Lion combo would have their own tag team name before going on excursion.
Well, I don't know if this is like, I usually Cage Match is pretty reliable in terms of that they don't necessarily make things up for their own amusement. So this is so Nakashima and Lube, this is their like farewell match as they go on to excursion. I just saw on social media that Oscar Lube will be participating in WXW's 16 karat gold tournament.
Ooh, good for him.
Which is good. Hopefully this also means he will be growing some facial hair and getting a haircut because he needs both. That's all I'm going to say about this very tall young man.
I don't think he's grown into his body yet. That's the problem with Roiba, is that he's still figuring out what to do with all of his height.
Oscar, just the facial hair and get a cool looking haircut. What you got right now is not working, fam. It's just not working. And then Nakashima, I guess we'll find out where he's going. Where would you like to see big boy Nakashima go, Karen?
Well, I believe I read somewhere that before he entered the dojo, he actually was down in New Zealand at the Fale Dojo. I could be wrong about that. Seeing as I think the LA dojo is more just like New Japan Academy right now, I don't know if that would serve his skill set anymore. Maybe Rev Pro. I don't know if he's a lucha material. I don't know if he would want to go to CMLL.
Just go to TNA, man, and
go join Kushida in TNA.
No, go join fucking Joe Hendry, man. Like he needs a new Japanese partner.
Instead of because they could reunite with him replacing Yuya.
Yeah, that's right. Yuto instead of Yuya.
I love it.
Listen, Scott D'Amore, you're welcome. You're welcome for these booking ideas.
That is our present to you in 2024.
There you go. Anyways, this is fine. They had a nice accounting. They shook hands. The tag champions said, "Great showing, guys. Have fun, excursion." And then Chase Owens showed up, attacked Phantasmo before being chased out of the ring by Hikuleo. And then Chase Owens. The only good thing about this segment, Karen, was that Chase Owens was wearing a beautiful Bobby Eaton t-shirt, and the only good thing that this man has ever done on screen is wearing that t-shirt. But he announced that he is going to challenge for the World Tag Team titles with Kenta as his partner. And I was just like, I guess they want like an easy V1 for these guys to, hopefully have a pretty decent reign. I don't know if they'll have Bishamon length reign, but
I don't think so.
Maybe V4. They should get at least V4 for their title.
I guess it also depends on the frequency of which they're going to have them defend these belts, and if it's going to be you pick your belt and choose your shot. You don't get both of them in one go. I also liked the very wholesome El Phantasmo draping the little granny at ringside in like all of the belts and calling her the 101st IWGP tag team champion. I like babyface ELP. I've said this during their G1 reviews. I like babyface ELP so much more. It's so much better heel. Than fucking heel shitbag ELP. This one's so much.
I think it plays to his strengths as his style of high flying wrestler as well.
Yeah.
It's better for him. So hopefully he sticks with this. All right. 12-man tag team match. Great Bash Heel, Togi Makabe, Tomoaki Hanma, El Desperado, Master Wato, Shota Umino, and Tamatonga taking on the HOT, Dick Togo, Evil, Ren Narita, Sho, Yoshinobu Kanemaru, and Yujiro Takahashi. Mercifully under 10 minutes, but still felt like it was like 20 because HOT is in there. And just basically to set up a bunch of matches, including Evil stealing the Never title from Tamatonga, which he won from Shingo Takagi the night before. I guess also, what else did they set up? Like the continuing feud between Ren and
Shota. And Shota is continuing. Kanemaru apparently is the new challenger for Despy. Or they're going to do a tag with Despy Wato and Kanemaru with Sho. We don't know yet.
I got the feeling it's Kanemaru challenging for, and then any tag match will be like set up leading into the Osaka. I imagine it's going to happen. This is all happening for
Osaka, yeah.
For Osaka. So, tag team, a 10-man tag team match. Karen, I'm just going to say, I fucking love this. This is fucking war between the Bullet Club War Dogs and the United Empire. From fucking start to finish, these 10 guys just beat the fucking shit out of each other, and I was all here for it. It was great. One thing I tend to be critical of in Japanese promotions is the kind of brawling, American style brawling, because a lot of times I feel when people who aren't trained in that don't have, it's not something that they really teach in the dojo, right? It's something that if you're a Japanese trained wrestler, you probably learned this.
You learned it on excursion,
yes.
you have one of the foreign wrestlers kind of like take you under their wing.
But because this is a faction of all foreign wrestlers, they went out and had a beautiful American style, Southern style brawl around the ring, in the ring, just all these
everywhere
intense. The thing was, what I loved about it, it was filled with so much hate. It was palpable. The hate between the United Empire and the I'm not going to call them the Bullet Club War Dogs, just the War Dogs, between the War Dogs and the United Empire. I hope they get rid of this Bullet Club fucking branding of this group. Just call them the War Dogs. And both groups are quite good. Okay, so you have Finlay, excuse me, you have Gabe Kidd, Coughlin, Connors, and Maloney in the War Dogs. On the other side, you have Ospreay while he's still there. Excuse me. You have Jeff Cobb, one of your favorites. We have Hanare. You have TJP and Akira Francesco. And you have all these ready-made programs with each member of each team going against one another. The only person missing was, because he was in a different match, was Great O'Khan from the United Empire. But I don't think that would have been necessary for him, or I think would have dragged it down, to be quite honest with you. But they set up so much, so they, excuse me, I apologize for the coughing, people.
It's winter, it's air dry, it's fine.
But after this brawl, they just said, this is basically Ospreay just announced, I'm gonna have my final match in Osaka for New Japan, and I want it to be a war. My guys against you guys, against the War Dogs and David Finlay. And he said, David Finlay, you can pick the fucking stipulation. David Finlay said, like William Regal, War Games. No, he didn't say that, but he might as well have.
I would have loved to have heard Finlay do a War Games.
But it's going to be a cage match. It's going to be a War Games match, essentially. I don't know if they'll do a cage that surrounds the entire ring area, which would include the floor. I think that would probably be best if you just have a cage surrounding just the ring and not covering the outside. I think that's going to hamper your ability to have more drama in the match. I don't think they'll go double ring, giant cage for double ring. I don't think they'll do that, but I think they'll have a kind of basically the Hell in a Cell.
That's Hell in a Cell style match.
Yeah, I think
because when Stardom's done their cage matches in recent history, it's been the WWE standard where it's just like slapped on the sides of the ring no like floor space involved. But yeah, with the combination of Osprey, TJP, Francesco Akira, and the other Connors and Maloney, if they have that extra room to do big moves, I think it'll make it stand out more. I'm just wondering if it's going to be what the rules are going to be. Is it going to be like last person out of the cage, one person out of the cage, everybody out of the cage? Like how
are they going to do like war games? Are they going to be
basically
one?
like just hopefully somebody, a timed entry? It's just timed entry gets tricky though. I don't know if because it's not something that New Japan or Japanese promotions do as a whole. I just get flashbacks to that really bad lumberjack match between Sonata and Evil that I don't want them to overthink this match.
Yeah. Well, I think just keep it simple. Just have all 5 guys on each team start off at the same time. Just have a war.
Yes.
just
a
have a war,
please.
Just a war. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. I'm sure they'll announce more stipulations for this. It was a it's listed on Cage Match as being 5 minutes and 10 seconds and perfect. It was so intense. It felt longer in a good way. And I highly recommend if you're gonna watch anything from this show, honestly, this and the main event are just, you can skip almost everything else, I feel, and watch these two. Let's continue. Just 5 guys, another 10-man tag team match. This is kind of the theme. This top end of this show, Karen, was like 10-man tag team matches. Just
get
5
everybody
guys
on the card. Everybody on the card.
Los Ingobernables de Japón, basically to set up Sonata, just challenging for his rematch against Naito, who did not give him answers, if I'm correct.
Yeah, he did not give Naito answers, but what he also suggested was a series of matches between 5 guys and LIJ. So it would be he didn't specify whether it would be like just singles match for him and then tags for everybody else, but you could easily pair everybody off with Taichi and Shingo, Hiromu and Doki, Yuya and Yoda, Bushi and Taka Michinoku, which no one's going to care about. But the other 4 pairings are very easily done and could all be very interesting matches.
There you go. New Japan Pro Wrestling, King of Pro Wrestling title, 4-way match for the vacant title. Taiji Ishimori taking the Great Khan, Toriano, and Yo. This guy, I saw pictures of him in the Rambo. Yo. He doesn't care anymore, Karen. Just came out in his tracksuit. No shoes, barefoot. He's there to collect a paycheck. That's it.
He had on, so I guess the tracksuit was his middle school tracksuit or a tracksuit that was related to some ping pong, table tennis, anime. I don't know. But he also had like the elementary school style indoor shoes, like the white ones with like the blue rubber sole. But he, trying to run in those when you're a grown man, you kind of just slip. They're designed to be slipped on and slipped off. He kind of just slipped out of them and just said, "Screw it, I'm just gonna go in my socks and then barefoot."
Yeah, he doesn't care. He didn't care about his career.
It makes me sad.
It makes me sad too. Yeah.
I feel like they've missed the boat on both him and Show now. Like I have no false hopes that either of them will ever become IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion. No, not in either of their current.
Both of them should leave. Honestly,
I don't know where they would go though. That's what makes me sad. Is that there's nowhere
anywhere else. Honestly, it's just like money wise, I don't know. Probably not. But career wise, just go away for like 6 months, both of them, and then show up as a tag team somewhere, and then just have a fucking killer matches for like 2 months on with like great wrestlers, and no one will they'll be like, okay, that was just an aberration in their careers. They are back, and just continue from there. That's all I'm gonna say.
If they're not gonna get back together as a tag team, then I want them to flip the script on each other. I want Yo to go heel. I want Show to be the baby face he was prior to joining House of Torture. Yo cannot go to Bullet Club. His options are United Empire or War Dogs. Those are it. Those are the only options for him. I don't care. Yeah. He cannot go to House of Torture. But it's one of those things where I feel like both of them need a refresh of some kind. Because yes, their loyal fans in Japan are still loyal to them. And, as a longtime loyal fan of theirs, I I'm starting to get to the point where I care about them as people, but I have zero interest in what they're doing as wrestlers.
I was a huge show fan. I have his T-shirt, High Voltage. Right, I've got the T-shirt.
I have multiple.
This man is going to be my favorite wrestler in the junior division of this company for the next 10 years. Nope. Fuck you, Ghetto. Fuck you, Dick Togo. Fuck your lousy ideas. You've ruined this man. I don't know if he'll ever recover from being in House of Torture.
I feel like if he ever goes babyface again, it's gonna take a Hail Mary of some kind. But it's the if he wants to be healed, that's fine. I just don't know. Like, there are so many other ways that they could do it where he's not clowning around like a goofy Scooby-Doo henchman.
But here's the thing, Karen. I never get the impression, even now, that he wants to be heel. He just, yes. No. I don't think he wants to be heel. I think he liked being what he was before. He just is like, he accepts his fate and just says, well, I might as well just have fun with it and be goofy. Anyways,
Ishimori wins. Sorry for the sidebar there.
No, it's okay. No, it's okay.
It just bums me out.
No problem. No problem.
Just like Taiji Ishimori winning this championship. I don't know why they're doing it.
The tail end where he's just got the last pin. That was the rule. Like whoever got the last pin was
correct.
Until the end of the match was going to win the belt. He just kept running around, evading.
He just outran Okan the entire time.
And he's the KOPW champion. Okay, sure. Let's move on. 8-man tag team match. Your favorite CMDK, Kosei Fujita, Mikey Nichols, Shane Haste, Zack Sabre Jr. taking on the combined forces of the Blackpool Combat Club of Jon Moxley and Bryan Danielson, teaming with Tomohiro Kazuchika Okada. I love the entrance of the Chaos BCC team because first Ishii comes out, then it's Okada, and then Moxley comes out, and then they say Akai corner because that's their corner, the red corner, and then people are like, oh, I think they were thinking Ishii Okada versus Bryan and Moxley in a tag match. Nope. And then Bryan comes out and he's on the same side as Okada, but they showed their respect for each other after their awesome match last night.
I may have teared up after that. I was like,
with the bowing. Yes, that
gets me every time. It gets me every time.
I love sportsmanship in wrestling. I love violence and I like hatred and I like, some goofy angles here and there, and I like, brawls and stuff like that as well. But more than anything else, I love when wrestlers show respect to one another. Yeah. Genuine respect. It's a beautiful thing to see when it happens. Because it's rare. I don't want to see it all the time, but like when it happens, it's beautiful. Especially when you get two megastars like Okada and Bryan. But they took on TMDK. Very, very fun match. I love seeing Moxley in there with both members of TMDK of Haste and Nichols, because I would imagine like when they were in WWE and NXT, they didn't really interact too much with Mox. I don't know.
He was already on the main roster well before they came in 2015, and I think by then he was already doing Shield things on the main roster.
So to see them have kind of this moment where like that they didn't have in WWE, especially Shane, because he was stuck in fucking Retribution. So he didn't get to do anything with Bryan or Dean Ambrose, aka Jon Moxley. So to see him be both those guys, okay, now we're gonna be on a level with these two big AEW stars. Again, Moxley wearing the super fucking cool gear, look like a fighter. Team with Bryan. Let me tell you something, Karen. Like, I'm just gonna lay out on a sidebar, my own sidebar here. My dream tag team scenario in AEW would be Jon Moxley teaming with Wheeler Yuta. Okay. Mentor student kind of tag team.
Go on.
And they will feud for the AEW World Tag Team titles against the newly formed tag team of Katsuyori Shibata and Orange Cassidy. And Orange Cassidy will graduate. Okay, no, listen. Like you know these like ninja like pants, baggy ninja pants, urban ninja pants that like Japanese youths like to wear?
Yes.
When he's teaming with Shibata, he doesn't wear the jeans. He wears these type of pants.
The ones that you see the construction workers wear?
No. If you type in urban ninja pants, Google, you'll see what I'm talking about. It's a fashion thing, right?
Urban ninja parkour. Nope. That is
streetwear, right?
streetwear.
Anyways, that's what only when he's teaming with Shibata. But we've hinted at Shibata. They have hinted at Shibata having some kind of alliance with Orange Cassidy, and I want to see that. Can you imagine Mox? Because Mox had that fucking awesome match with Orange Cassidy for the national title. That was what a like. I've come around on Orange Cassidy because now he uses his gimmick to the way it should be, as a psychological warfare tool against his opponents to make them underestimate him. I like that aspect of it.
Yeah.
Make that happen. Anyways, this is great.
I also loved on the commentary when when Okada, Ishii, Mox, and Danielson got all together for their group photo. Tanahashi's on commentary and being like, I kind of want to go up there and join them. I was like, same, man. Same. I feel the same way.
He felt a little left out. Even though because the part of the outcome. This is a great match, by the way. Because the main point was Danielson versus Zach, setting up a future singles match with them, and just a lot of. We talk about the Heat and the War Dogs versus the United Empire, but there is just between Danielson and Zach a lot of hatred, because Zach really wanted to get revenge for the loss he suffered at the hands of Danielson. I think at the first Forbidden Door in Chicago a couple of years ago, where Brian knocked him out instead of tapping him out. He thought that's what was going to happen. But we also set up the never six-man tag team championship challenge. TMDK with Kosei Fujita will challenge Okada, Tanahashi, and Ishii. And I get the impression, you elaborate first, Karen, that Kazuchika Okada did not take kindly to young Kosei Fujita challenging him, and he's gonna continue his feud with all the young lions of New Japan Pro Wrestling and beat the living piss out of this young man.
New year, new Okada, new white sparkly gear, yet Okada is still the grumpy black hat man. He is your villain. He's just hiding. He's a wolf in sheep's clothing, and he's just grumpy with all the young lions, and I'm here for it.
Yeah, it's I'm here for him to beat the shit out of Shota, Yuya,
everybody.
Tsuji.
If he can beat Senshi, Yo, and Sho, that'd be great.
Kosei, just give me fucking Okada turning into Jumbo Tsuruta and Junichiro Tenryu in the early 90s against the future four pillars. I'm a happy man. Give me that shit, yo. Give it to me. Anyways,
give me what I want.
What we got in the back was an awesome backstage interview with Jon Moxley, as he's like, yeah, well, I didn't get pinned. Whatever. It's not great 2 nights for me, but I didn't get pinned in the last night, so I don't give a shit. And then who comes out but Shingo Takagi? And he says, he cut a really good promo in broken English, and I loved it. It was great because he's basically saying, hey, I lost the Never title last night. And Jon Moxley's like, yeah, I saw that. And then he's basically saying, hey, I don't have an opponent for San Jose. I want to challenge you. And Jon Moxley's like, yeah, okay, sure. Why can't more wrestling angles be like this, Kane? No sneak attacks. Just say, hey, I lost, you lost. Let's fight each other.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, what are you doing next Saturday?
Right. And this will be
put on some denim and just bleed all over San Jose? Sure, why not?
Oh, well, Jon Moxley not bleeding in a match would be the
he sneezes.
That's the glitch.
Breeze catches his forehead.
That's Jon Moxley not bleeding is the glitch, not the feature. You know what I'm saying? That's right. So this will be a no DQ match, and yes. I'm looking forward to watching a lot of the matches that are going to be in Battle of the Valley. And so let's say New Year's Dash. Watch the War Dogs United Empire stuff. Watch the main event. You can skip pretty much everything else, Karen. But let's talk about Battle of the Valley. Do we have the...
We do have the card. Would you like me to run it down for you?
Yes. What is the card?
All right. So we're starting off with... I'm going to start at the bottom. Kickoff matches, and we're going way up to the top. So we have 2 kickoff matches. The first one is the Strong Survivor, powered by the New Japan Academy. Matt Vandegrift versus Goldie.
No idea there.
I do not. I guess Goldie made his first appearance at the All-Star Junior Festival USA card, and then Vandegrift is the one who's won the 2 previous Strong Survivor matches. The second one will be the it's a singles match, but it could possibly become a contenders match for Julia's New Japan Strong Women's Championship. It's Viva Van versus Stephanie Vaquer from CMLL. And then the main card starts with a 6-man tag. Shota Umino, Fred Rosser, and Jacob Fatu versus Team Filthy, our boy, your friend and mine, Tom Lawler.
That's right.
Royce Isaacs and Jeroel Nelson. Put Tom Lawler in the G1, please. I don't know how that came out from. Second match is a CMLL tag match. Mascara Dorada and Volador Jr. versus Rocky Romero and Soberano Jr. Third match is TJP versus David Finlay. Interestingly, not for the GHC Championship, the Global Heavyweight Championship, not yet at least. Then a tag match between for the they've specified the New Japan Strong Openweight Tag Team Championships. So it's Hikuleo and Phantasmo versus the Bullet Club War Dogs combination of Alex Coughlin and Clark Connors.
Oh, interesting. Not with Gabe.
Not Gabe, because I believe Gabe is on the card elsewhere. Fifth match is the New Japan Strong Women's Championship. Julia will defend against Trish Adora. Trish challenged Julia via video at Dream Queendom on the 29th of December. Then the sixth match is Matt Riddle and X versus TMDK's Bad Dude Tito and Zack Sabre Jr.
New Japan should just go all the way, Karen, and just, X should. Can you imagine the fucking meltdown if X turned out to be Marty Scurll? That would be that'd just be the icing on the cake for New Japan to do something like that. I don't want them to do that. Just so people know.
The show, please don't make it difficult.
I don't want that to happen. Well, we'll see who X is. Maybe it's maybe Low Key will make his return to
or Jeff Cobb, because him and Matt Riddle tagged at some point.
Oh, that's right, they did. They did do that, yeah.
I don't know. Here we go. So the AEW Continental Crown is what they're calling it, or at least that's the where they have it on the New Japan website. Eddie Kingston will defend against Gabe Kidd.
Oh, there you go.
And then didn't
they set this up back in the G1, Karen?
Possibly
in the G1 final show, or Gabe, I think, attacked Eddie. I think.
Well, he's been attacking people all over the place. He also attacked him at Lone Star Shootout back in Texas.
There you go.
So after that is our probably one of our matches of the night is going to be the no DQ between Shingo Takagi and Jon Moxley. And then the main event is likely Will Ospreay's last New Japan match in the US prior to his AEW signing. So
right.
I don't know if he'll be. I think Windy City Riot is coming up after April. So
no, so he's doing the Osaka will be his last. The cage match will be his last Japan match, and this will be his last American match.
Pre AEW American match.
Very much how Jay White left, basically.
Because he's fighting Okada. So it's the main event is Ospreay versus Okada. So
yes.
It feels like if there's going to be anyone to send Will Ospreay packing from New Japan, it's going to be Okada.
Yeah, I mean, Okada brought him in basically.
Yeah,
because he wrestled him in Rev Pro, and then he said, "Okay, and I mean, those two are tied together, in so many ways."
His striking out to establish the new empire, the United Empire, was him turning on Okada. So
yeah.
So that is Battle in the Valley on Saturday the 13th from the San Jose Civic Center. Bruce Lord and I will be reviewing it on the 14th because of time zones, because it starts at 10 p.m. my time, and then we don't want to be up at 2 a.m. trying to get me to record something. So we're scheduled to record early afternoon East Coast time for me on the Sunday, so it should be up Sunday evening.
All right. Well, that's something I will look forward to, is to watching the show and then hearing you and Bruce talk about it. Karen and Bruce, let me just say, I don't really participate in the New Japan reviews, just mainly because of time constraints, but also because like I don't think I would do as good a job as Karen and Bruce recapping these shows. So I always look forward to sharing the wealth as far as covering the Japanese scene here at Post Wrestling with you guys, because you do a fucking awesome job, and I continue.
Thank you.
I look forward to 2024 more amazing reviews. For you guys, you specialize in the New Japan product. So it's great to see you guys continue to do that for the site and just be part of the team, the sub team. I guess like we're if John and Way are like the main site is the Bullet Club, then we're the War Dogs. You, me, and Bruce are the War Dogs. How about that?
I like that. I will be a War Dog all day, every day.
So with that said, we're gonna wrap this up. Thanks to everyone for listening. Thanks for continued support of Post Perez. And other stuff I do here at Post Wrestling, including the long and winding Royal Road. This January edition is planned out. We're still deciding a date to record. It will be me and Wei Ting, and we're going to talk about one of the many legendary matches between Mitsuharu Misawa and Toshiaki Kawada. So for all you people who are like, man, I've never heard Wei talk about All Japan Pro Wrestling in the 1990s, about the King's Road style. Well, guess what? I'm here to fulfill your fucking dreams, and he's going to be on the show with me sometime later this month. And then MCU later, we just wrapped up, me and Rich Fan, along with Scrump from Pro Wrestling, the PWT cast, talking about What If Season 2. Karen, have you watched What If Season 2 yet?
I have not.
Have you watched Season 1 of What If?
I think I watched some of it. I remember there was one where, oh God, is her name Peggy?
Yes, Peggy Carter.
Yeah, she's the one who becomes Captain America.
That's right, Captain Carter. Yes.
Yeah, that I remember that one.
Okay,
but I think that's the only one I have seen.
Then you're in luck. That's the only one you need to see to watch season 2.
The first...
Well, I will say this: like, Captain Carter is integral to the second half of season 2.
Okay.
You don't. Yeah, and then everything else is pretty much a standalone for the most part, but very enjoyable. Listen to me, Rich, and Scrump talk about it over on MCU Later, which is only available to our Patreon members, our cafe members. So sign up if you want to listen to that. I think just the lowest tier can get you access to MCU Later, and of course, next month, me and Karen will be back on talking about something happening in Japanese professional wrestling. Maybe some good booking for a change. That would be nice.
Please.
Maybe some stabilization in fucking All Japan Pro Wrestling, and maybe some good shit coming out of Pro Wrestling Noah, for me at least. But we'll see. And then New Japan being New Japan. But until next time, Karen, thank you very much. See you next month. We just so people know, Karen and I are always talking. We're always DMing each other, talking about this and that. And stuff like that. So it's
don't
not
give away all our trade secrets.
Well, I'm just saying, it's not like I don't talk to you for a whole fucking month or nothing like that. It's
no,
like, we talk quite.
You're
often.
one of the special people in my life.
Well,
you're part of the inner circle.
Same. So until next time, for Karen, thanks for listening, everyone, and we'll see you next time. Until then, goodbye.